Good evening. This is Books and Things, and I am Tom. Tonight we have as a guest speaker Nancy Butler, and Nancy is an author, national speaker, and a business coach. And while in the process of a divorce with no child support, alimony, or other source of income, Nancy moved herself and her two children 70 miles and started her own business. She built the business from scratch to approximately $200 million in assets under management, and in 2007 she sold her business. And Nancy is now a national speaker and coach to help business owners do a better job for their clients and improve their bottom line. And she speaks to individuals, helping them to live a successful life and realize their dreams. She has been quoted in many local and national publications, including USA Today and The Day, and has been a speaker for major corporations such as Pfizer, General Dynamics, and Dow Chemical, and has also been a guest on several TV shows and radio call-in shows. Nancy's first book is coming out in September, and she just does a lot of things. I'd like you to meet Nancy Butler.
Well, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about this business that you built all by yourself. I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, first of all, I knew that I needed to do something. I mean, I was going to be on my own for the first time in my life. I went from living with my parents to being married. So I had never been on my own a day in my life, and now I was going to have not only me to support, but two children as well. With no alimony, child support, or any other source of income, I had to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I did move 70 miles away because I moved back to the area I'm from, which is Waterford, Connecticut. Okay. And at that time, I was offered a position, a salaried position that was higher pay than I had ever had in my life, but I realized I didn't want a job, I wanted a career. I needed something that was long-term, and the way they were hiring me was the top of the ladder. So there really wasn't any place to go after that, and I was like 31 years old, and I didn't want to start out at the top. I wanted a place to grow. So I figured the only way I could really do that would be to do it on my own. Really tough. I mean, I had $4,000 to my name. I had just moved here. I knew very few people. It was really, really difficult, but anything that's worth having quite often is difficult, and you just need to work at it.
That's true.
So that's kind of how I got started.
Huh. And what line of business was it?
I set up a financial planning and asset management business, which is really interesting because I had never owned a CD in my life, never even heard of it, never owned a mutual fund, didn't know what an annuity was. I had no clue about stocks, bonds, UITs, REITs, or any of the other things that I now know a lot about. And when I took the job, I decided that even if it didn't work out, when I say took the job, when I started the business, I decided even if it didn't work out, it was going to be well worth it, because what I would learn could help me to raise my children and be successful financially on my own. Whether this career worked out or not, just the knowledge would be worth it. And here I am 30 years later. So it was definitely worth it.
I guess it was. That's fantastic. Now, I know from the notes that you sent me that you don't like to read books, and now you're an author.
Yeah, it's really weird. It is kind of strange. The reason I'm an author is so many people have told me that because of my unique background that I really ought to write a book. So I started writing a book, and then I'm thinking, well, this is really odd because I never read books. I mean, I listen to them. I have a GPS that I can connect to my computer, and I download books on tape all the time. And I'm in the car a lot. So in the last couple of years, I've probably listened to over 400 books, but I don't physically own any, and I don't sit and read books. But now I'm writing one.
So you should like Kindle.
No, because then I have to sit and read that too. So, but if I'm in the car driving somewhere, to me that's kind of a waste of time, and at least I can accomplish something by reading a book or listening to a book, I should say.
That's fantastic. It's interesting because I didn't read that much either when I wrote my first book, but I do read a lot of books now. I read a lot of mysteries. I love mysteries. And now, what? Tell us about your book. I know it's coming out in September.
Yes. again, everyone told me, so many people told me I should write about my background. And as I'm writing this book, I started thinking, you know, my family and my close friends would really want to know about everything I'm writing. But who the heck else would care about my background? And that I really needed to make this book be more than just an autobiography.
Right.
So I decided that I would write it in sections so that each chapter is like a chapter in my life, but then it also explains what I got out of it, what you can get out of it, some quotes that I've come out with now that I live my life by that has helped me to get to the next level.
So it's really kind of a motivational book, too.
Definitely, in a lot of areas, because I've had, other than what we just talked about, I've had a lot go on in my life. I mean, my father died at 50, going through that. When I was divorced, I was 31 years old. I mean, so going through divorce, going through that, our house caught on fire while we were all in it. I mean, I had major illness and couldn't walk for a year. I had a daughter who couldn't walk for many years. I mean, we've been through a lot. So the book kind of talks about some of the different things that come up in life and how your mindset can make such a big difference, and how do you get past all of that to come out on top and to really be able to say, I did it. I'm glad I did it, I made it through, and things are even better now than they were before.
Well, that's good, because a lot of times people go through all this stuff and they don't get up, they don't rise. They just stay there and eat it up. I know when I lost my son, I spent several years in depression.
Yeah.
But I kept trying to get ahead, thinking, oh, I feel better today. And at the end of the day, I didn't.
Right.
But you try to take a step forward all the time. But you really do have to be able to rise and
One saying I use a lot that goes with what you were just saying is, I believe that we do not control and cannot control the feelings that come over us. The fact that you felt sad, depressed, you can't control what comes over you, but what you can control is what you do with those feelings.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the feelings that you've got? So if you're angry, if you're sad, if you're happy, if you're miserable, if you're upset or depressed, what are you doing with that? And how can you turn it around to make a positive out of your life and get yourself out of the rut that you're in? I mean, I was at a point where on the verge of suicide at one point. And so how do you turn it around and start thinking differently?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what the book will talk about too.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll have you back on after the book comes out.
Okay.
Probably be like November, December, but
That's okay.
Getting booked, but I'd love to be able to find out more about it. Now, you worked it with financial planning and asset management, and then as you said, you never owned a CD. But now, what is it you're doing now? Exactly. I know you've been a guest at one of my CAPA meetings, and I really still don't know what you really do.
Okay, and you're not the first person that has said that to me. So here's how this all works, and then I'll answer the question of exactly what am I doing now.
Okay.
About 12 years before I sold my business, I knew that at some point I would want to retire. So I started interviewing other financial advisors to bring into my practice so I could train them, bring them up to speed, and find someone that I could feel comfortable turning my clients over to, with the thought of I would retire. So that was my goal.
Yeah.
I'm extremely planning oriented. So I started that 12 years early, and then I did find the right person. And 6 years before my last day of work, I signed legal documents stating when my last day of work was going to be, had the practice purchased, had the calculation of how we determine what it's worth, all of that figured out with the goal of the next day I would retire. My goal was to make Hall of Fame through our home office, through our head company, and then retire. I made Hall of Fame December 31st, 06, which is something only about 100 people in over 100 years have made, so it's nice.
Wow.
And then January 2nd, 07 is when I sold the practice. That's when my legal documents said I would leave.
Yeah.
So once I did that, I'm not one that can sit around and do nothing. I mean, I was 50, 60 hours a week one day and then nothing the next. And that's just not going to happen. That's just not me.
You're a type A person.
Yes, I am. So I decided that with all the knowledge that I've built up over the years and being able to handle going through divorce, handle raising children on my own, handle building my own finances, building a business, running a business, helping. I had 1,200 clients when I sold the practice, helping them be financially successful. I didn't want to die with all this knowledge. So I decided that I would be a national speaker and start helping others to be successful in life, build their businesses, and be successful. So to answer your question, what am I doing now? I'm doing several things. The first thing is I am a national speaker, and I do speak to all different groups all over the country. Secondly, I am a business coach, so I'm a paid coach to a lot of financial planning and other practices in different parts of the country where they pay me to coach them on how to get their business to the next level. What's really nice about it is I do not have a contract with any of them. I tell them I only wanted them to pay me while they're getting value. The day they're not getting value from me, they're gone. And all of them have been with me since I started. So it's really, really nice.
That's neat.
The other thing that I'm doing is I wrote the book, as you know, and I watch my grandchildren twice a week and 4 weeks in the summer, which I've been doing for 15 years. I look after my 88-year-old mother, which I've been doing for the last 10 years. I look after her every day. So there's a lot going on. And in order to keep my licenses, I have to have about 30 continuing education credits a year. And I contacted all the schools that I was going to get those credits. I've been here 30 years. I know everything those teachers are talking about. So now I teach the credits, and then I don't have to pay to go. They pay me to go, and I still get my credits.
It works out very well.
Yes, it
I'm
does.
not squeezing in.
So a long answer to a short question. What am I doing now? That's what I'm doing now.
Wow. That's amazing, because I know you're very busy, and I can see why. I mean, you don't have too much time to breathe.
This is true, yeah.
But you know, a busy person doesn't have time to dwell on the other junk in life either.
Right.
Because you're just too busy. I can't deal with that. Keep going.
I can't handle negativity.
No, it's such a drop.
Yes. There's too much going on, and I can't imagine people having nothing to do or can't. I mean, to me, no matter what, there's always something.
Yeah. It's like politics. It's so much negative. I mean, I turn it all off now. I don't really care anymore. But negative is, it's just, you can't be negative. And you got to smile, you got to laugh. And laughing, every day on the computer, I get the jokes, and I answer and say, that's the first laugh of the day. Because you want to laugh. I don't want to start it off with a sad story or something. I just want to laugh. That's the only reason I look at my emails. And but it's fascinating what you do. I'm reading through your notes here, and I think, wow, you have just been doing it all. Now, tell us about Above All Else.
Above All Else is two things. It's the name of the business that I started when I sold my other business. Okay. So it's my national speaking business. Wow. To tie it all together, it's also the name of the book. So the name of the book is Above All Else, Success in Life and Business. This is a picture of the cover of the book because I don't have them physically in my hands yet. Yeah. I will have them next month. Yeah. But I thought it would be great to tie it together. So the name of the business is Above All Else, Success in Life and Business. There is a website with that exact same name, so it all flows through.
Yeah, I noticed the website, www.aboveallelse.org. And you can go on there and learn all about Above All Else. And as a matter of fact, they're flashing it on the screen now. The computer just gives so many different values to it. You know, it's great to sit there and play games and things, but I can't do that. It drives me crazy. I like to do the crossword puzzle in the morning, and that's about it. But but there's so many ways to get on there with Facebook and Twitter, and you're on all of them, which doesn't surprise me at all. But the LinkedIn and what's the other one?
YouTube
MySpace
and Skype.
YouTube. Oh my word! I'm still trying to learn YouTube because I'm trying
Pinterest
to
and
Pinterest. I don't even know what that is. I belong to it.
Okay.
I have no idea how to work that thing.
When it comes to business, especially whether it be selling books, whether it be running any kind of a business, to me, technology is really, really important.
It is.
And the older we get, sometimes it's more difficult to get into the changes that technology brings. For some reason, I've just always soaked it up. I've always loved it. I don't need to know how it all works. I just need to know what it can do for me and how do I access what it can do for me. And if you don't stay up on technology and you're trying to run a business or you're trying to be successful business-wise, you'll just fall way far behind.
Oh, it's so easy. And I'm going on there now, like I said, we're taping the shows, and I've got tapes, the CDs at home, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it into my computer. So I had to go out and buy a new DVD player because I've got a CD player and a DVD player, but I have to have another DVD player to tape from one to the other. It's sitting on my desk, been there about a week and a half now, and I still haven't even touched it because I want to get these get the shows out to other TV areas.
Oh, sure.
You know, like Waterford and into Norwich and Wesley. And
technology can be such a big help to so many people. When I was running my practice, as I said, I had about 1,200 clients. Over half of them were over the age of 60. And having been in business for 25 years before I sold the practice, I saw people as they aged and how things happened to them and what their lives were like. Now that I've been managing my mother, who is now 88 years old, you will never guess what we just got her for her birthday 2 weeks ago.
Right.
How about an iPad?
Really?
Yes. Now, she has been declared legally blind, and we got her an iPad. Why?
It talks.
No.
Oh.
We got her a stand that sits on the floor. It has an arm on it. She can bring the iPad over in front of her. We set up all the family all over the country with Skype. Set my mother up with Skype. This weekend I'm going there, showing her how to use it. She will be able to sit in front of a screen as close to her face as she wants and see all the family members all over the country that she can't travel to and see anymore.
That's great.
And talk to them live.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's what technology can do. It's amazing.
We had a neighbor that his wife is from China. And I saw her one day walking up and down the street with a laptop in her hand, and she's pointing this thing all over the place. I said, hey, she's taking pictures. She was talking to her parents in China, and this is the house next door, and she's showing them what the neighborhood was like.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
That's why I say, don't be afraid of technology. And you don't have to know how it works. You don't have to know all the intricacies about it. You just need to know how to do what you need to know. And so like with my mother, I was thinking we would download books, we would download newspapers because she's insistent she's going to read my book when it comes out. and I know with the iPad I can make the print really huge so that she might be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just knowing what's out there, what's available. And if I think about it, when I started in '81 in this business, there were no computers, there were no cell phones. I typed all my financial plans on a typewriter. A typewriter.
And whited it out.
And whited it out. And it's just amazing the way technology has grown from 1981 to now.
Oh, it is.
And it blows my mind to think what it'll be like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Oh, I can't imagine. We used to think Dick Tracy's a big deal with a watch you can talk to. Now, look, I mean, they've got him. You got a phone that takes pictures.
Right. My grandkids have been on the computer since they were 3 years old. They know how to turn it on, get in there, do things, find things. It's amazing.
And probably better than you or I.
Of course. And now what, my phone talks, I can ask it a question and it'll answer me.
Oh, really?
It's amazing. Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
Jeez. But it is, and it does help everybody, because even now with e-books, you put your book on an e-book and everybody downloads it. Personally, I like a book. I want to hold it. I want to turn the pages. I get tired looking at a screen.
Right.
But I think e-book is a definite necessity if you're going to college and you got to bring 100 books with you. It's all on the e-book, and you got them everything right there at your
right. And I think about disabled people a lot too, and how technology can really help the disabled.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
And for businesses, you got to have it.
Right.
You have to, because you can set something up there. I don't know how many books I've sold on eBay. I mean, not on eBay, but on the computer through Facebook. Mm-hmm. I put a picture of the book up there, and I get 2 or 3 requests. And I go, wow, that's not bad. But you can contact people all over the world, and it's just
right.
And with your business, I'm sure it's just.
Well, technology more with my business and with me helping other business owners is helping them to find ways for it to enable them to be more efficient,
Yeah.
to save money, provide a better service to their clients, and at the same time improve their bottom line. And the use of technology quite often can do that.
And email can cut time in half. You can
Or
talk to,
take a heck of a lot longer. Do you know how many emails a day I get? I probably get 300 to 400 a day.
yeah, I get about 100
Yeah.
between. I got three email accounts, and between the three of them, it's at least 100 a day.
I'm extremely systems oriented, so I work with businesses to help them set up systems on how to manage all of that and get right to the bottom line of what they need to do to be successful and how to get rid of the rest.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of junk mail out there.
I've always had a saying in running my business, I only touch things once. I will not touch something twice. So for example, if a client calls in, I am not to be given a note that says client called in, give them a call back. That's not going to happen. The staff will be fired.
Yeah.
Instead, the note should say, client called, here's what they called about. I've researched it for you. Here's some information. I set up a phone appointment for you. This is when they're going to call you for you to answer this question, and here's the paperwork you need.
Wow.
I touch it once.
Yeah, and that saves you a lot of work because that's what you're paying them for.
That's what I'm paying them for, and then I can give better service to clients, and I can see more people to bring more money into the business at the same time. Because I'm not doing $5 or $10 an hour jobs. I'm doing the work that I should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. Now, you have been a senior financial advisor, a franchise consultant, and Ameriprise financial property rental manager and investment. So you've done a lot.
Right. Before I did this, I managed real estate all over the state. And I was running about 1,000 apartments when I left to take this position. And the reason I left was my husband and I worked for the same company. We were both managing apartment complexes. And so I decided when we got divorced that I wouldn't do that anymore. And that's when I moved 70 miles and started this business.
Now, are you married now?
Yes. Happily married 20 years. It'll be almost 20
Do you
years.
see him often?
Yeah, I see him every day.
I know it's, when I was married, I was running around here and running around there. I was DJing, and you're home maybe 3 or 4 hours a day. And so it's very difficult. And I've always said you can't be a slave to two things at the same time because it's very hard.
What's nice in what I do now is as a national speaker, he can come with me.
Oh, that's good.
I'll get up and speak for a couple hours. We can stay, and then we go home. Next week, we'll be in Denver. I'll be at a conference out there for the week. He gets to come. I've already signed up for indoor skydiving, if you ever heard of that.
No.
I won't skydive, but indoor skydiving sounds okay.
Might be
And
all right.
I like trying things. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's neat. I know I wouldn't skydive.
Neither would I. I will do almost anything. 2 things in my life I will not do. I will not skydive. I will not bungee jump.
No.
I have been up in a hot air balloon. I've swam with beluga whales. I've swam with dolphins. I've swam with stingrays out in the middle of the Caribbean. I have done a lot of different. I've been in a sailplane with no engine, where they cut the string and you just go. Psh, psh, psh.
Oh, is that right?
I will try
Glider.
almost anything. Yeah, I will try almost anything, but I will not bungee jump and I will not parachute out of a plane.
Those two things are just accident prone.
Well, there's something about the sensation of the fall that does nothing for me.
Pass out on the way down. Pull a chute. I just pass out. But that bungee cord jump, there's a lot of people that died in those things because
Yeah.
the cord's not right.
Yeah. And as you and I know, we are not getting any younger. So.
No. I've got bad knees. I can't do that stuff because I know I'll break them.
Okay.
But so you coach business owners and you help them out.
Right.
And again, you want to contact Nancy. It's www.aboveallelse.org. And you can even call her on the phone. It's 860-444.
That's the email.
Oh, there's the email in Butler and aboveallelse.org. Or you can call her on the phone, 860-444-0535. And I'm sure she'd be happy to discuss anything with you. And this is the time that I have to put my hat on, because I had a friend of mine say that he wasn't thrilled with my hat, so I said I'll put it on anyway. And I've had too many people like my hat. my hat is just to get attention.
Okay.
And I was walking through the farmers market the other day, and I could feel somebody staring at me. And I turned, and I could see her eyes were looking at my hat. And as soon as she saw me turn, she looked the other way. That's all right, because now if I see her again, she'll stare at the hat.
That's your logo.
That's my logo. And the idea is, of course, when you start selling your book, you have to have something that attracts attention to you.
Exactly.
And that's the hat does. And it's just...
It's interesting you say that, because when I was working with the designers on the cover of the book, I had a hard time with the fact that they put my face so big on here, thinking that's just not a nice way to do it. But then my husband and I were in the airport one time, and he said, look at this row of books. Which ones attract your eyes the most? And it's the one with the face on it.
Yeah.
So it just got me going, and so I said, okay, fine.
A little closeness to the person, too.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I put my picture on the back, it doesn't even look like me. And I thought, I really don't need that. And you got to put a picture on there, because everybody does. But of course, when you do it on the front page, but that looks inviting.
Well, thank you.
It looks inviting, like, oh,
and it is this year, believe it or not. It's not like 10 years ago when I looked better than I do now.
Let's see, we got next week is going to be Dodie Mulatto, and she's written a book called Penelope's Cruise. Interesting book. She wrote it about taking a cruise and trying to find a boyfriend or something like that. And I don't know exactly who it was, but she did meet her husband on a cruise. And so it's kind of a love story. It's a woman's book, I guess. I'm going to have to get a copy before I have her on so I can find out what it is all about. Unfortunately, you're going to miss the Big E, because you said the book's coming out, what, September?
No, I've already signed up. I will be at the Big E.
Oh, you will be?
Yes.
Oh, good, good.
In fact, I have 3 major events I've already registered for. One is the Kappa event in Rhode Island at the Rhode Island Convention Center.
Convention Center, yes.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I just got asked today to speak at the Massachusetts Business Expo in October, and I'll have the books there.
Oh, that's good. Very good. And for those who don't know, the Big E is at the I forgot the name of it, at Springfield, Massachusetts, and Connecticut Authors and Publishers has a 20-foot booth with all of our members' books there for sale. So if you get a chance to get up there, stop in and say hello.
That's great. Connecticut Authors in the Connecticut building.
And it's in the Connecticut building, and they charge sales tax because it's in Connecticut.
I'll be darned. That building is considered in Connecticut, even though it's physically located in Massachusetts.
Yes, because Connecticut owns the building, same as Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everybody owns their building, so they charge whatever applicable tax for that anybody in that building.
Interesting.
Yes. So it is Connecticut property, and when you go up there, you have to bring your sales slip, your sales tag, so you can say no, you pay taxes. So that's and that's September. I don't remember.
The middle of September till the 30th, something like that.
I know it runs like 17 days.
Right.
But it's a tremendous program. And I love to go up and watch everything and see all the food.
I've gone there at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, for maybe 20 years, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone there a lot, yeah.
I've been doing it now for about the last 4 years, I think, because of Kappa's involvement in it. But it's nice. They have all kinds of different food. They have all kinds of different programs going on. But it's an interesting thing. Anyway, next week, come see us, and Dodie will be here, and I'll be here. And we're on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock every week.